Good morning. This is Dr. Scott Lively. It is April, was it 13th? No, it's the 14th, April 14th. And I'm sitting here in front of the hen house where we've just had the first births on the farm. A pair of ducklings hatched by one of the chickens, one of the hens. Very interesting. And I think there's others in the process of hatching, and I've got some video of that. I'm going to do a little video of life on the farm, and include a lot of different short clips that I've filmed over the past few weeks and months. But this morning I want to talk about the Benghazi and the Clinton treason, and it's really amazing how seemingly random events can intersect in amazing ways. This morning, I've been working on preparing the video version of the introduction in Chapter 1 of my book, Dynasty of Darkness, Satan's Long Serpentine Trail Through Human History in the Role of Successive Antichrists and the Imminent Rise of His Last Days Kingdom. And as I usually do, I scan the news and read some news stories while I'm having my morning coffee, sort of preparing to get into the work of either reading some scripture or otherwise laying a foundation for doing these sunrise videos. It's about 8:30 or so now, long after sunrise. But I got surprised to find a headline this morning that the State Department has released a phone transcript that proves that Hillary Clinton knew about Benghazi in advance. Essentially, it was a planned event. Back at the time, in the research that I did, what seemed to be the most plausible theory on what had actually happened was that Hillary Clinton was attempting to stage a 9/11 false flag terror event that could cast herself and Barack Obama in a heroic light. And so they were going to use this base, this diplomatic center in Benghazi, Libya, as the stage for this. There was going to be a phony attack, and then the consul there, the ambassador, I don't even remember all the details, that he was going to be rescued or something, and then everybody was going to look great, and it would have been like a Hollywood made propaganda event that would serve Obama and the Clintons very well. But they didn't anticipate that there would be a couple of Navy SEALs on the property at the time. They weren't expected to be there, and when they saw what was actually a planned and staged sort of attack, they responded as if it was real, and then that turned into the major firefight, and the Muslims. False attackers called in reinforcements, and then the rest is history. A gigantic scandal. Well, what did Hillary do in order to cover up for this? She's never held accountable for that conspiracy, and what did she? She blamed the film called "The Innocence of Muslims," which was produced by an Israeli Jew, and nobody knew anything about this film. It was a small film. It had not gotten much play, but other events were happening. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I was in working on my video on the inserting graphics. The main graphic that I use on the cover of the book is a picture of a group of over 100 Nazi officers, right around 1940 or so, gathering on what's known as the Pergamum altar, what the Bible calls the seat of Satan, in Revelation chapter 2, verse 13, and I was going to be placing that in the video, and I will place that in there. Well, I was in Washington, D.C. at the National Archives on 9/11/2012 when the Benghazi thing happened, or just before it. I was, and that's when I found that photo. It was the best find that I had on that trip to the National Archives, and so that was on 9/11. Now the Benghazi attack spanned 2 days in our time zone, and part of 9/11 and part of 9/12. The morning of 9/12, I was supposed to be meeting Pastor Terry Jones at the White House, and we were going to film a short video condemning Barack Obama for his very highly aggressive promotion of the LGBT agenda around the world. Now, Pastor Jones was in the international spotlight because he's the guy that had burned a Koran at his church in Florida to highlight media hypocrisy about the burning of Bibles by the Muslims. And so it was sort of like, so we're going to burn a Koran just like you guys burn the Bible. And so the media was all on that. It was a big international news story. And Pastor Jones was going to follow up on that with a showing of the innocence of Muslims at his church in Florida. And nobody knew about this film at the time, but it became international news because Pastor Jones was going to show it. And there I was in D.C. when all this came down, on my way or ready to go and meet him at the White House to do this video when he called me and said, because of this Benghazi thing, I'm getting all kinds of demands for media interviews. And so our event got canceled. But what an amazing confluence of events, all triggered. And then here I am getting ready to place this photograph I got at the National Archives in the book when this story comes out about Hillary being exposed for actually having planned the Benghazi attack. So that's all I wanted to say today. It's amazing things I've got. I wasn't going to do a separate video this morning, but there it is, and I'll be posting this shortly. And hopefully tomorrow morning I'll be posting the introduction in Chapter 1 of the video version of Dynasty of Darkness. And I hope you watch that. And I'm wearing my Ushaya End of the World hat, which I'm doing whenever I'm talking about eschatology, end-time events, which is what the Dynasty of Darkness is about, book about the Antichrist. And so there we are. God bless you, and I'll talk to you next time. One additional point of interest is that I visited the National Archives only twice. The first time was 9/10/2001, the day before the original 9/11, and that's why I was in Washington, D.C. For the 9/11 attack. My second visit to the National Archives just happened to be 9/11/2012, when the Benghazi attack occurred. Another interesting coincidence that I thought you might find interesting. So God bless. That's all I got. Bye.